Good morning and welcome to my studio Saturday morning, and I'm here this week in Les Gaigneres in northern France. So you'll see that it looks a little bit different, the view behind you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through a few of the things that I've been up to this week and give you a little 360 spin round my studio. Doubles up as the washroom, as does my other one at home, so yeah, there's not a lot to see, but the views here are quite splendid, so you'll get to see that. You'll see I'm sat next to my painting. This is my most recent painting. It's called View from the Tool Shed, and it's in Les Gaigneres. It's at the bottom of the garden, from the bottom of the garden, which is a work in progress at the moment. You'll also notice that it's not done, if you watched my video last week, with thin oils that I was talking about. I've had a little bit of an experiment with using oils really thinly this week, and it's all been a bit of a disaster, so I haven't got anything to show you for that, but I will keep trying on that, and as soon as I've got anything that is, even if it's not working, but that is worth showing, then I will share that with you. Okay, but for now I'm going to show you what I have been up to and take you for a little walk. Let's go and have a look. So this is that painting that I've just been talking about, that I've just been sat next to rather, and you can see the light shining on the bottom of that, so it's giving you a little bit of a distorted view of what that looks like. I've got a time lapse of this painting as well, of me painting it, but then also of me working on the iPad over the top. So you'll see a different view of it when it's been worked on with the iPad, which is something that I use quite a lot, the iPad, to work over things. One, it's really good for not making any mistakes because you can just, it doesn't matter. You've got an endless supply of copies, but also it's really good if your paint's wet. So because I've done this quite thickly in places, you can see there's some quite thick paint in there. It's taking a while to dry, so rather than just have to wait for it to dry, I can use the iPad to sort of experiment with ideas, and that's what I've done, which I'll show you as part of this video. So if I come around here now, I'm going to show you outside of the window. It's like a kind of conservatory type place that I'm in here. So you see these, at the moment there's an awful lot of grass ready to grow because we've had to have some work done in the garden, but built that fence earlier this week. You see these trees. There's a purple tree in the middle there that has actually been painted by me. I've got that on a painting. That's my favourite silver birch tree that you'll see there. And if you watched my video last week, you'll have seen that I was sat at the base of that doing a drawing of that tree. Absolutely love that tree. So there we go, that's that. And then unfortunately the sun is right in your face around here, so I don't think you're going to be able to see much of the view out of that window, but that spans for miles and miles and miles, and is the view. So this is the time lapse that I was talking about, that shows you the process of working over. I've started with a painting that I'd half done, wasn't that happy with, so I've gone over it rather with oil paint, and that's just showing you it in speeded up version, so you get an idea of what I've done with it. So basically it's a red and green colour palette. I tend to restrict my colours to, my palette to complementary colours wherever possible, so this one's red and green. Often use blue and orange, and I will be moving on to purple and yellow because of springtime obviously, but this is now what I was talking about using the iPad and working over the top with the iPad. It's a really, really good way of experimenting and also working when everything's too hot. By that I mean too wet, not too hot. So this is earlier in the week, and this is, it looks like I'm drawing using invisible ink or invisible pencil. That's just simply because it was so sunny earlier on in the week that you can't actually see the drawing that I'm doing, so it was a bit of a waste of time, but I put it in there because I thought it was quite amusing. But there I am busily drawing away, filming it, and you can't see a thing. But any minute now you're going to see the final drawing that came from that, so you can actually see the finished product even if you can't see me drawing it. And there is the finished drawing, the summer house. So thanks for watching that little whiz around my studio, something in my studio. I hope you found it interesting. Like I say, I will experiment this week with some different means of using the oil paints, and hopefully I'll have something to show for you next week. Thanks again for watching.